Greetings everyone, my name is Greg. In this video, I am going to talk about conspiracy theories in a general sense and why not all of them are crazy. The one that was brought to my attention by a comment on one of my videos was about 9/11 and why I haven't addressed that one. The reason is that's a conspiracy theory that the official story is the conspiracy theory. Because that one is one of them that I really have a problem with. Because I'll do another video on it where I go into and I show the science and why the official story is official bullshit. One of the things I'll just point out here, for anyone that would want to try and get on me about this, what you're trying to defend, if you're trying to defend the official story, is the idea that the laws of physics were suspended on 9/11 in favor of the government, the official story. Reason being, the towers fell at damn near free fall speed. They fell, according to the official account, in about 10 seconds. Free fall speed, with nothing obstructing, is 9.2 seconds. That is fucking impossible. Because every time you would have one floor hitting another, it would slow up the descent. That's simple physics. There's also major problems with the idea of Osama bin Laden being alive for 10 years and having been on dialysis. Number one in that, someone that's on dialysis would not be able to be moving around in a desert, cave to cave. It's not possible. Even putting aside, even if you would go in the wild idea that he could have dialysis done in a cave, which is fucking bullshit, even putting that aside, he wouldn't have the energy. I never went through dialysis, but my girlfriend did. She was on dialysis for 6 years. The maximum somebody can be on dialysis is 7 years. After 7 years, you are dead. The body can't take it. Anybody want to try to tell me Osama bin Laden was on dialysis for 10 years? You're smoking crack. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It is something that pisses me off because it is an area that hits home with me. Because like I said, my girlfriend had a kidney transplant. She had it after 6 years. They had told her, if you don't have a kidney transplant within a year, you're dead. The truth of the matter is, there was one person that had predicted who the fall guy would be, and he did it back around June of 2001. Thing is, he was killed in November of 2001. And that person that named the fall guy, William Cooper. William Cooper was gunned down outside of his house by law enforcement, shot in the back on his way to his house. Shot in the back. People don't know. William Cooper was a patriot. William Cooper was the real deal. William Cooper had exposed Alex Jones in 2000 because of his... Alex Jones did a program on December 31st of 1999 where he literally had people running for the hills because he was making wild-ass claims and people were listening to him and buying into his bullshit. Alex Jones, if he's not a plant, He damn well should be. Because the shit that he says, some of his things are a little bit accurate. But for the most part, he's a blowhard. He's a fearmonger. I do not like Alex Jones. Alex Jones is a piece of shit that runs his mouth and puts out more speculation and wild claims that are not supported, they're not vetted. He just lets people on the air to run and spout whatever bullshit they want. It's not how you do things. It's not the way it's done. It's not the way William Cooper did it. If somebody would have done the same, had a story and presented it to William Cooper, he would have checked their facts. And then he would have been, you can tell the story, but I'm going to make sure your facts are right. You're not going to be coming on the air and spreading rumor. Because another conspiracy theory that has me questioning is JFK. Because there are facts regarding JFK that I am suspicious of with the government. Like the fact that a motorcade that goes, I think it's below 10 miles an hour, is the Secret Service is supposed to be running alongside the vehicle. Didn't happen with JFK. Also, the Secret Service is supposed to make sure that all buildings are clear of anyone. That's part of their job. And that also wasn't done. And the idea that there was one shooter, no. Or that he was shot from the front, bullshit. Or I should say shot from behind. Because his head went backward. If you're shot from the back, your head's not going to go back. Because the bullet coming in will cause your head to go forward. His head went the wrong way to be shot from the rear. The thing is, there are various conspiracy theories that are actually true. One that was termed a conspiracy theory, but it has been proven true, is the Gulf of Tonkin. That is another incident that the government was very big on covering up. Because the idea of us sinking one of our own ships, it would cause ripples in society. People just don't want to think that their government would be involved in that. What's also questionable is Pearl Harbor. Because prior to Pearl Harbor, the Navy was on an early Christmas leave. And there was just a skeleton crew. The thing is, that was a prelude to us getting into World War II. If that would not have happened, we would not have been getting involved when we did. And we needed to. There's no question we needed to be involved. But the method is what I question, is what I say wasn't necessary. The thing is, people, they want to just buy into what they're told. And a lot of the conspiracy theories are completely kooky, that have no basis in fact. 9/11 is not one of them. In fact, 9/11 is one that the overwhelming amount of evidence points to the fact that the government lied. Because the truth of the matter is, the idea of hijackers being able to take over a plane with box cutters, are you fucking kidding me? Box cutters? No way. It's laughable. They would be more believable if they would have said that they took over the plane with a Gerber. Because This, at least, has a blade that is somewhat decent. This makes a box cutter look like a toy. And that's just one of them. Because another, in the same tool, is a blade that is nastier. Because the edge is serrated. You have two different blades on the same tool. To try and say a box cutter? Are you freaking kidding me? It's a joke. What also has me questioning with 9/11 is the plane that supposedly crashed in Pennsylvania. Where's the wreckage? None. I've never known a plane crash not to have massive wreckage. But the wreckage with that plane, I think I had heard none of the wreckage was any bigger than like a match pack. And this is about the size of a match pack. It's a Zippo lighter. But the thing is, what plane could be destroyed and be reduced to pieces this small? I question that. Because that is impossible. There's so much with the official story that doesn't add up. I'm all for facts and evidence, but the thing is, I cannot go along with something that violates the laws of physics, that violates sheer common sense. There are a lot of things that people can say that it's a conspiracy theory, that it's unfounded. A lot of the alien stuff, completely unfounded, because we don't have hard evidence that aliens exist. Now, there is the aspect, and it is something that I find a bit bizarre. It was in the 1950s. There was an incident of UFOs buzzing the White House. There's actually pictures of it that I'll probably find those again and show them in a video of UFOs literally over the White House. Now, the aspect, if it is an unidentified flying object, that doesn't necessarily mean alien, but over the White House is protected airspace. According to the story, the UFOs were buzzing the White House, and when they would enter the airspace over the White House, the Air Force ships would be launched to intercept, which is typical of anything that would be going over that protected airspace. But as soon as the ships would take off, the UFOs would vanish. And when the Air Force would land, the UFOs would be back. That game of cat and mouse went on for 4 hours. It got to where the pilots didn't even want to get in the planes because they knew as soon as they took off, whatever was in the sky would vanish. So to them it was one of those, this is pointless. But they still had to do it. There are things that have me going, what the fuck? The thing is, I am not one that is just going to buy into a conspiracy theory because of an argument from ignorance. We don't know, so X. No. But when the science is in favor of, to use the term, the conspiracy theory, and going against whatever the official story is, the official story is bullshit if it doesn't match up with science. My interest in everything in life is evidence, science, fact. I don't care where whatever the science and fact and evidence, wherever it falls. I follow the evidence. And if that would mean that, let's just use the hypothetical, if the evidence would point to a God of some sort, I'm not saying I would be a believer, but I would definitely be looking at it and being, we have to consider this and the implications that would entail, because that's where the evidence points. The thing is, there is no evidence for a God. The evidence we have actually points the opposite direction, but the religious don't want to see that. They want to go with their faith bullshit. The way it dawned on me, and when I started looking into the 9/11 stuff, it did piss me off. And what came and stuck in the back of my head was from the TV show CSI. The Gil Grissom, follow the evidence. Pretty much put your feelings aside. Follow the evidence. What does the evidence show? That the evidence doesn't lie. People lie. Evidence doesn't. Evidence is impartial. Evidence doesn't give a shit about your agenda. The evidence is just, this is how it is. The laws of physics do not change just because it would fit the government's agenda. The laws of physics are the laws of physics. Buildings do not fall into their own footprint on, to use the term, a fire. Because I had heard about a skyscraper in Philadelphia. I think it was in the 70s, 1970s, that it burned for over 24 hours. It never collapsed. It was the parts of it that burned were gutted, but the structure was still intact. And to try and act like airplane fuel? No. Anybody that thinks airplane fuel is able to do that needs to seriously examine the burning temperature of airplane fuel versus the temperature it takes to melt steel. There's a major discrepancy. There is also a major problem with the fact that when you would have a plane hitting a building and the fuel, most of the fuel would be going up in the ball of fire. You wouldn't have that being sustained. So what I have come across in my research is that the building was set to be demolished. And what was used, supposedly, was thermite mixed with sulfur creates thermate. And thermate does have the temperature necessary to melt steel. The thing is, the buildings would have had to have been set to blow. Controlled demolition. Because it is also, in a sense, on record. The person that owned the building, Building 7, that he had said, pull it. Pull it is a term used in controlled demolitions for bring down the building. These are all things that, for me, point to there is something more going on. I don't know how much our government was involved, or if it was entirely an inside job. I don't know. But I know the official story is bullshit. The laws of physics. Basically, if the laws of physics could look at what is claimed, it would go, can't happen. I don't care what anyone's agenda is. If it doesn't line up with With physics, you're wrong. There's no two ways about it. This isn't a matter of opinion. You either go along with physics or you're a fucking idiot. There's no two ways about it. It's not about trying to be lumping all into one pot. It doesn't work that way. I don't do that. I look at, in a sense, each case and look at it on its own merit. And in the case of 9/11, I have very strong reason to say the government is covering up something. What exactly they're covering up, and to their involvement, to what extent they're involved in what happened, that's open to debate, question, speculation. The thing is, the idea that they have no involvement, that it was just a terrorist attack, I'm calling bullshit on that, because everything around it doesn't fit. And the fact that the media will run with bullshit and pump out bullshit, obvious bullshit, as if it's gospel, because that's what they're being paid to say. I don't trust the media. I don't trust the media any further than I can throw them. I want to fact check everything that comes from the media. And if it doesn't line up with physics, with science, I'm going to call bullshit on it. It'll be try again. Get your story to line up with science, and then maybe we can talk. But I'll go into more on this when I can actually have things that I can show you why this is bullshit. But there are conspiracy theories that are more valid, more plausible. And there's the others that are just, they're insane ramblings. And you have to make the determination based on what evidence is available in favor of or not. Because in the case of like the moon landing, just to touch on that one briefly, that's stupid for the simple fact that people have this attitude that the flag would be a flag like we have here. No, it wouldn't. It would have been more like aluminum foil. And what it shows is people do not understand science. To try and act like the things that we saw in the video of the moon landing, that was done on a Hollywood soundstage. Oh, bullshit. That's just clear. People do not understand science. They do not understand what they're trying to act like they're experts on. And that's in large part the big problem with a lot of the claims, is people just don't understand science. So they come up with these wacky, insane ideas. And then others run with it, and it becomes this conspiracy theory, or the Alex Joneses run with it. It's crap. Your ideas have to, at the very least, match science. If they don't, you got a whole lot of nothing. But feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Later, people.